Hey friends, welcome to the Aligned Life-Stylist podcast where science meets soul and healing becomes a journey back to who you truly are. My name is Corey and I'm so excited to have you. This is a space for bold, curious, and for anybody that wants to find out more about their health, whether it's spiritual, physical, emotional, what mental patterns that we have. Um, our nature through the lens of human design is what we really focus a lot on. And then functional wellness, alternative healing, and the magical, mystical wisdom that's guided humankind for centuries. So if you've ever felt like your body was trying to tell you something, you're in the right place because today we're really going to talk about that. We're going to talk about different ways, unconventional thinking, ways to honor your intention and your intuition and uncover the root causes of what's imbalanced in your life so you can have more energy and really go out and live your purpose. Because true healing isn't about becoming someone new, it's about remembering who you were before the world told you who you were supposed to be. So, welcome, welcome. I am so excited. I'm here to give you a little bit of tough love today, and I want to keep it fun, but we're going to get really real. And what's interesting is so last Thursday, I had a beautiful, lovely lunch with my mom and my sister, and I came home and I wanted to record this because it was fresh on my mind. And I did something that I don't normally do is I put all of my ideas into Chat GPT and I had a little outline. And when I recorded that podcast, three things happened that threw it out of my alignment. The first thing was, or that we're just basically telling me, don't do it right now. This isn't the correct timing. And I was really doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it because I had time. I knew it needed to get done. I took a week off, so I didn't have a podcast last week. And you know me, if you've been here before, you know I'm always going to be really real and honest with you. And so, because that's what life's all about. We're here having an experience, learning lessons, trying to figure things out. And my goal is to take what I've learned and help you, but also to help you just be who you're supposed to be and be okay with making mistakes or not being perfect all the time. So as you can see, if you're watching, if you're not subscribed to my Substack, subscribe so you can see the live videos when I do show human design charts and different things like that. But as you can see, I'm in my office, but I've totally changed it up and it is not what I want it to be, but right now it is what it is. And so that's just part of the progression. And I want for you to see that because I want you to have progression along with me. I don't know everything. I'm not exactly where I'm supposed to be in life. And none of us ever will be because it's just the journey, right? We just get to keep going, figuring it out, solving the mysteries. And if we can take it from a perspective of having fun with it, it makes it so much easier. It keeps us in that higher frequency instead of that frequency of fear and there's not enough and just all this stuff. And we're going to talk about that today because I really want to give you a total just wake up call. I just want to give you a little nice kick in the ass to be like, okay, what am I doing to myself right now? What am I preventing myself from moving forward with? Because there's so many women that come into my office or that I talk to just when I'm out and about or at different things that I go to that they know what they want. Some of them aren't very clear on what they want, but they have this inkling of this is the life that I wish I was living. And I think that until we become okay with the present and enjoying the present moment, we'll always be chasing something. And so there's this really fine line between having goals and between living in the present. So looking into the future and being like, this is what I'm aiming towards, but I'm really okay where I am right now because look what I'm doing right now. And I was listening to a podcast this morning. It was the Kathy Heller podcast, and I've talked about that multiple times because I just love her podcast because it's truly authentic. And she has amazing gifts and amazing guests as well. And today she said something that really hit, and I can't say it verbatim, but she said her and her guest today were talking just about a lot of really cool things, and I'll try to find that episode and share it. But she they were talking about how we stop ourselves, how we get in like creative flow and we can't figure out why we can never get to where we want to be. And what they basically said was we get an idea, we get in this creative flow and we're having fun in the flow and we forget about time and we're in that flow, right? And then what happens is we stop and we look to see where we're at. And it's when we stop and we look at where we're at and it doesn't line up with our expectation, it kind of takes us backwards because what it does is we're on our timeline instead of our higher powers timeline. And so our goal is to be here to create, to make things happen in our lives the way that we want them to. And I'm going to give you some examples of that, of how my weekend went with creativity and how when I'm in that zone, it works so well for me, but my programming takes me out of it. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. But basically what they were saying is that when we stop and we go back, we start to like measure and look at how much have I gotten done? And did I reach my goal yet? It stops us in our tracks. And for a lot of us, it makes us not motivated to move forward. Especially for those of us that are manifesting generators, because we're just going, 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 and we're made to pivot, but we tend to jump too soon. And so I have a ton of that in my life where I've just made a decision to make changes way too fast. So this weekend, I was really excited to just stay home and be home because I haven't been home. Oh, let me go back to what I had started with. Okay, let me back up. I got way ahead of myself. I knew there was something I had started and didn't finish. So when I recorded the podcast on Thursday, the first thing that happened is I forgot to hook up my microphone, so there was no sound. So I literally recorded an hour of podcast, no sound. The second thing I did that I never, ever, ever, ever do, I love ChatGPT for a lot of things for my business, but I don't like it to tell me what to talk about. And I had all these ideas and because I was rushing, I couldn't like figure out how to put them together. And I really had too many things I was trying to put together to put into one episode. So I put it all in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT gave me this outline. And it was a good outline. There was a lot of good stuff in it, right? But what happened is while I was recording, I found myself referring back to the notes. And although they were my thoughts, it wasn't authentically coming across the way I like to come across. The third thing that happened is I sold my pink office chair. So if you've watched any of my past podcasts, the chair that I sat in was my favorite pink velvet chair. And I sold that on the Facebook Marketplace. And what was really cool about that is I had to pause it because I forgot she was coming and I was in the middle of recording and I forgot she was coming. And she came in and we literally had the most amazing conversation for like 30 minutes. And so then when I came back to the podcast, I was totally discombobulated because I was thinking about that conversation. So my point in all that is that the universe has a way of showing us when we're out of our truth, when we're out of our authenticity. And so for me, because I've been trying so hard to teach that and to be an example of that, the universe literally said, this is not authentic to you. So let me throw everything in your way so that this actual version of what you're going to talk about never comes out. So I literally deleted it. So lesson learned, right? Because nothing's a mistake. We just learn lessons. We're always learning lessons. So what I did today is well, let me go back to the weekend. So we've been gone several weekends this summer, and I love going out and doing the things that we do on the weekends, but I need my downtime, right? And so it's really important. All of us have a space in our human design somewhere that tells us how to use downtime and what we do, but literally how it works in our life and when we need it and how to know when we need rest and downtime. And so those of us that love to have fun and do adventurous things and be out in nature and society and all of the things, we struggle with downtime because if you're a generator or you're a manifesting generator, you have a drive to be busy. But if you're using your energy correctly, you've learned that your busyness doesn't come from doing things that other people want you to do or things that you can do just because you can. And you say yes to things that are not correct for you just because you can do it. It's taking that downtime or the time that we would normally put into being busy doing things that we don't want to do and doing things that light us up, right? So when you get in that mode of life and you're doing things that light you up, you literally sometimes forget to rest. And for me, because I've become so accustomed to what my body needs, I know when I'm tapped out, when I energetically can't be around people anymore, when I just need time to myself. So this weekend I was so excited because I had some projects at home I wanted to get done. Um, I knew I needed some alone time, and so I had a fantastic weekend. I got out my little layout pool and laid out in my backyard for a couple hours. I listened to some amazing podcasts. I finished a book I've been trying to finish forever. Um, I started creating my new little hobby slash business that I'm gonna do. And I just, that time alone and that downtime to not have to be anywhere or think of anything or have no connection to time, I literally, time did not matter the whole weekend. And what that did for me was gave me such clarity and helped me realize, okay, here's where you're off path. Here's where you're saying yes to things that you need to say no to. Here's where you need to be more direct about what's okay and not okay. Just all of the things. And so I'm telling you all that because I really want to impress upon you to start to listen to your body. And this is where your tough love is going to come in because I'm going to say some things to you today that might seem abrasive or they might mirror to you something that you don't want to see. And that's okay because everything's about timing. So if I say something and you're cringing and you're like, oh, no, I don't agree with that, or I'm not ready to hear that, that's okay. But I'm going to invite you to examine, are you truly not ready? Or are you just saying you're not ready? Because everything's about timing, 100%. You have to be ready to make change. But I think for most of us, we think change requires something really big and scary. And you can make little teeny tiny changes every day. So if you go, I'm going to post a little later. It should be there by the time I get this podcast out this afternoon. I'm going to share a post that I did in my private Facebook group this morning about just really the possibilities that we forget, that we've just forgotten how powerful we are. So I'll share that post that I had as I was walking, having my morning meeting and walking through my yard this morning. I'm going to share that on Substack today. But I don't want you to have any guilt. That's the message that I'm saying, I guess, with the if you don't like what I say, don't be mad at me, but also don't have guilt, right? If you're mad at me, that's for you to deal with. But if something hits you really hard, usually it's because of something that you need to see, but it's whether you're ready to resolve it. So no guilt, but I want you to think about, what are you not listening to? What's going on in your life that you are not listening to? Because chances are, if you're complaining or you're not happy or you're exhausted or you're always in bad relationships with people taking advantage of you, you feel unseen, you feel unheard, if you're just miserable because you live in Groundhog Day, like all the things, I want you to think about what you're complaining about on the daily. Like, what do you wake up and you dread? What do you literally go, oh, it's another day and I have to deal with this? And then I want you to think about, what are you not listening to? Where can you take control? What are you ignoring? What are you saying, making excuses for? Or what are you saying, I don't have this, so I can't do that? There's been many, many times in my life where I just felt so stuck and so like I couldn't dig myself out of a hole. And some of those times were when I was a young mom. Some of those times were when I was going through all my stuff with the airlines. I've had that happen multiple times where I was just like, I don't know what to do. But the reality is what it took is for me to look inside and go, okay, you have to make some big decisions. You have to say, I'm not willing to live this life anymore. I'm not willing to fight this fight anymore. I'm not willing to give of myself and not take care of myself anymore. I'm not willing to be treated the way that I'm being treated. There's so many things that you're sitting with and you're allowing, and you're allowing it, right? So you might feel trapped, but there's always a way out. There's always a choice and there's always an answer. So I want you to think about, first and foremost, where are you getting your answers? Because there's so much noise out there. There is so much going on, and we've literally been programmed to go to the external to look for answers when everything that you need to know is inside. And this may be a little bit repetitive because I talk about this a lot, but I just want to get it out there and really help you understand. Everything you need is inside. The external world will reflect back to you validation and yeses and nos and things that you need to pay attention to. But what you may be exposing yourself to on the daily is way too overwhelming for your system to even deal with in order to find answers. So you're being told how to eat, what not to eat, when to eat it, how to combine certain foods, when you should exercise, how much exercise you should do. All you need a therapist, you need to go to this, you need to go to that. All of these things are great advice in little bits and pieces and for specific people. And so when you constantly go externally to find answers, you are deleting your connection. You're totally bypassing your connection to your higher power and to your inner spirit that have all the answers, can create anything that you want to create. But the problem is by staying stuck in that external world, you have lost the ability to understand your power. You've lost the connection with that ability to say, you know what, I'm going to make this happen. And I'm going to trust that if it's correct for me, I will be shown the way. Many of us are living a life where we just are plugged into the system. We get up every single morning, we hurry to work, we skip meals, we are exhausted, we don't take time for ourselves, we come home, we give to everybody else, we tap out in front of the TV or in front of social media. So if any of that resonates with you, I want you to take a really good look at what choices are you making on a daily basis that are keeping you in that cycle? Because you have to make, even if it's the teeniest, tiniest choice, the tiniest thing, you have to make that choice because that one little thing will just change your trajectory just enough to put you in a different situation. So you have to think of it as though I'm at a fork in the road, and if I make this choice, it'll take me here, and if I make this choice, it will take me here. And then you have to go a little bit deeper and you have to say, well, why would I make choice A versus choice B? Am I making choice A because that's what everyone else told me to make? Because I want to be accepted, I want to be loved, I don't want to be shunned by my people. I want to be taken care of. I don't want to be in a space of unknown. So I'm going to choose A because that feels comfortable. But A is the path to chaos. It's the path to unhappiness. It's the path to arguing and fighting. It's the path to dread. It's the path to feeling unfulfilled and feeling like you have no reason to, no purpose for being here. What if you chose path B? What if path B is the unknown? What if path B says, you get to choose. And if you take this little, you just go on path B, even if it's just for a minute, you can always go back to path A, but take the unknown road, the road less traveled. Take that one and see what happens. And so as we're talking today, think of something that you can start to change. Think of just a little thing, something minor that you can just say, okay, instead of waking up tomorrow morning, and jumping out of bed and hustling, I'm going to do one thing different before I get out of bed. It usually should start with your thoughts because most of us wake up, if we're in a life that we don't enjoy, we wake up with dread. We wake up thinking about all the things we have to do that day. If you can just change the way that you wake up, whether it's with gratitude, whether you have time to journal, go on a walk. This one of my new goals is at least 3 times a week to get up and before I do anything, go get out in nature and go on a walk. It changes the whole trajectory of my day if I do that. So some of you have the ability to do that because you don't have a regular 9 to 5 job and some of you don't. But you have time to do it. Like if you look at your phone and look at how much time you're spending on your phone, I promise you could take a portion of that and figure out a way to go on a walk, to journal, to do whatever it is that you need to do. Those are those little things that are going to start pushing you towards path B. It doesn't have to be a big thing like I'm going to quit my job tomorrow. I hate it and I'm quitting tomorrow. It doesn't have to be I'm going to have this really hard conversation. I've got to do it right this second because again, everything's about timing. But if you start processing it, showing gratitude for what you do have that you're happy about, journaling about your feelings, processing those feelings and getting them out instead of just stuffing them down and feeling so uncared for and unseen, if you start doing those things, they are going to put you in alignment with other people who are on path B, other opportunities. It totally will change the path that you're on. But the path can't change until you make a choice. You have to consciously become aware, first of all, what am I not happy with? What don't I want? What do I complain about every day? Nothing makes me more crazy, and I can say this because I used to do it and I still sometimes get in that space. Nothing makes me more nuts than when I see somebody and they're complaining about something but they don't want the solution. If you're going to complain about it, don't complain about it to me because I have a solution. That's actually one of my gifts is I can help you find a solution. I can help you prevent future garbage in your life because I can see it on a scale that maybe you can't see it. But don't ask me for it if you're not going to implement it because then that makes me frustrated and makes me think, you know what, you're wasting my time. So if you're one of those people that gets frustrated by other people, that's where your boundaries have to come in, where you have to go, you know what? I'm only sharing what I have with the people who it's going to resonate with. This goes back to human design, how to use your voice, how to use your strategy and authority, how to use your profile and when you should speak and when you should stay quiet. It also has a lot to do with your life purpose, which is in your incarnation cross. So become very aware of who you're letting in because they're projecting that energy onto you if they're complainers and they're victims and everything's terrible. Now, I'm not saying have false positivity that you can never complain that you because one of the most beneficial things that you can do is get it out, right? And we're always going to have things that frustrate us and bother us. So if you have friends or you have a therapist or you have somebody that you can let the steam off with and complain to, that is very healthy. I'm not saying not to do that. But what I am saying is that if you continually complain about the same thing and you're not taking action to resolve it, stop complaining about it because you are in control. You are the only one that can change. Okay? You have to make a decision to walk away from something, to eat better, to take better care of your mental health. Whatever that is, you every day make a choice to do that or to not do that. And you can own that. Okay? So think about where the external noise is affecting you. When you get on, I'll tell you, I got on to Facebook right before I was recording, probably just because my phone was sitting here, to be honest with you. I can't even remember why I got on. And about 10 minutes went by and it sucked me in. And what I was noticing is that I follow a lot of people and I don't like to spend a lot of time on social media, but I have learned in the duality of things because I'm such an extremist. That is a big part of my incarnation cross is to go to extremes. And so what I tend to do is I go very extremely into something and then I have to go, wait a second, you went way too far. The pendulum swung way too far over there. And so what I've noticed with like social media is over the past several years, I've had this anger with it because I felt like it was narcissistically controlling me. And what I've learned is that there's duality in everything, but I have to choose the boundary, right? And so I got on Facebook today and there was a post by somebody who I see their posts all the time and they're very positive, and they posted something that they were upset about. And what was interesting is that post, it wasn't necessarily a negative post, but it was a post that like was a little bit, oh, what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's not coming to me. Anyways, it created some friction. It was a post that created some friction. And that post got probably more attention than any post that person has posted in a long time. And my point in telling you that is that we are addicted to the negative. We are addicted to focusing on what we can complain about. We love to see the fun, pretty, funny things on the social media, but if you look at the ones that are complaining or something about something scary, those are the things that get the most hits. So we're addicted to that. A lot of that has to do with your brain, has to do with your dopamine. You're addicted to specific things because they create a chemical reaction in your body that you're addicted to. So the key is you've got to change what you're addicted to. And the fastest way to do that is to stop picking up your damn phone every 5 minutes. It's difficult. You have to get it out of sight, out of mind. So give yourself time and space to look at the social media, but don't have it available to you all the time, or take it off your phone and then set a timer when you get on your computer. I could go on with a million suggestions for that, but what I'm trying to get to is you need to start looking inside instead of outside for the answers. The outside can give you some validation, but the inside is the answers. And so instead, like one of the big things that I've done in the last couple of weeks is I've gone through my email and just deleted anything that's constantly sends me emails that I haven't opened for a long time because it's not resonating with me. Get all of the noise out of your inbox. The same goes with social media. Go through and delete all of the people who are negative, the people that you follow that you don't identify with. Pick a few experts to follow that you really love what they say. Pick a few positive things, but stop following everybody just because they one time said something that resonated. Get really choosy about who you're letting in your inner circle. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is fear. Fear comes from disconnection. The more that you get sucked into the external world, the more fear you will feel. The fear right now that is going around that is driving me crazy is the freaking parasite and the produce that's contaminated. I'm not saying that's not happening or going on, but here's what happens. When you have fear in your body, whatever you allow or you perceive, you're actually saying yes to. So when you say, oh my gosh, I might get this parasite, or oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Who's going to come save me now because there's a new thing for me to be afraid of? You're actually opening your spirit to say, be afraid of that, let it come to me, right? But if you look at it objectively and you say, could I get this, whatever it is it a parasite? I'll tell you what right now, if you want to go down the rabbit hole and do your own research, because I'm not going to tell you, it's not my space to tell you what to believe. But if you're worried about the parasite, go check out what vaccinations are coming out next. Because if you start to recognize the pattern that every time some big thing comes out, there's something new in the medical system, pharmaceutical, vaccination, whatever it is, something new is coming out to get you to buy into it. The other night we were watching, last night, I've been watching all of the episodes from day one of Million Dollar Listing. And we're in the we're in the episodes that were recorded during COVID. And it is literally like PTSD. So me and my guy, we were watching it and he's like, I have to fast forward through these episodes. And I'm like, it is really odd how it feels like to watch people walking in masks, asking if it's okay if they take their mask off. I'm talking about social distancing. And we were talking last night about what a fucked up mess that was that some of us, a lot of us, bought into. And some of you out there might still be buying into that, and that's your journey. You can buy into that all you want. But the point I'm trying to make is a lot of people were sold a lot of shit around that. And it was an experiment to see if you would trust your intuition. And those of us that trusted our intuition and saw the truth, it's crazy what seeing it come back from past episodes of things where people are wearing masks, how it's like, first of all, it's bizarre that we even went through that. Like I am shocked. Like it's hard to even believe that we went through that they were controlling how many people we could have in our house, what we could do with our businesses. I remember at one point they were telling us we couldn't have Thanksgiving. Like if that isn't a wake-up call that we have totally gone off the rails in listening to other people, it should be. So anyways, I wanted to bring that up because it was like a really form of like a post-traumatic stress of we lived through that and it was a very stressful time, especially if intuitively you knew it was wrong. So back to what's going on now. Okay. So last year, 6, 8, 10 months ago, it was the measles outbreaks again, right? So everybody got all up in arms about that. I'm not saying you don't need to be careful and protect yourself, but what I am saying is that you need to get knowledge. You need to deep dive. You need to find your own truth. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't do something or you should do something. I'm telling you, listen to your intuition because your body will tell you what is truth. And so many of you are completely disconnected from truth because all you do is rely on other people to make decisions for you. I think last week in the podcast, 2 weeks ago, I talked about how so many people ask questions on Facebook that are such that just have logical, like you, that's just something you should know. But we've been so conditioned into fear that we don't trust ourselves. And you cannot grow. You cannot grow into your dreams. You cannot make your life better and have live and fulfill your purpose if you don't trust yourself. You just can't. Period. You can't. You'll never move forward until you start trusting yourself. And it's freaking hard. It's hard. I deal with it. I still struggle with it every day, but damn it, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win the battle. So, where is your fear causing you not only disconnection from your spirit, but dysregulation in your nervous system? Because if you get on social media and it creates dysregulation, you know it, you can feel it. If you're watching the news, you know it, you can feel it. If you're watching murder porn, you know it, you can feel it. If you're around people who are negative or who are totally um, just different than you know it. If you're in a job that you hate and you don't belong there and you have massive talents but you're in a job just because it makes you money, you know it. You know everything I'm talking about, you're just choosing to let the fear stop you. And that's built in you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's built in you because, again, as I always say, and as most of us already know, our brain is always going to go to the logical place of what's the safest. And so even being in something that dysregulates your nervous system will seem safe to your brain because it's safer than the unknown. The unknown is the most beautiful, spectacular place that you can go, but you don't have to dive into it, right? So just start trying some new things. Start doing things that you didn't do before. Start loving yourself, taking care of your body. Stop talking crappy to yourself. I've been experimenting with my body because as I've hit the age of menopause, and man, she is a wicked, wicked lady. But because I've worked so hard on my health, I'm gonna do an episode about body, like how we feel about our bodies, because I ran across a picture of myself and it just made me go, you know what? We can change. We can totally take control and we can change. It's just finding the knowledge of what it is, what's holding us back. But the menopause has been really a struggle for me because I've gained weight. And I've gained weight in the same places I always carry weight, in my butt and my belly. I've lost muscle. I'm fully aware of it. I've been too lazy to do some of the things to fix it, right? But what I've been really realizing is that what we say to ourselves, what you think about, you bring about, right? So if I look in the mirror and I say, "Oh my gosh, you're so fat," or you just look how many rolls that you have," or somebody sends me a picture of myself at the beach and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's hideous." It's almost like you keep yourself in the timeline where you have the body that you don't want. But if you look in the mirror and you go, "I look pretty damn good for my age," or "I'm making progress," or "You know what? At least I feel good enough that I can still get in a swimming suit and not really worry about what people think." Your body, what your body looks like, does not matter. It's how you feel. So usually when our bodies are out of shape, we don't feel super great, right? So we have to take action on that. We have to do something about it. But I guarantee you that a lot of what's going on with your physical health in your body is you being out of alignment with your truth. It's you not knowing your worth. It's you not stepping out of your comfort zone. It's you staying in circles of people that are not growing, that are holding you back. You've got to get really clear on what you want, and the rest of it will fall into place. So I was looking at that picture. Well, then this morning I picked up a picture of myself when I was about 2 or 3. And I just thought, what is that? That little girl never would have talked. She was just living her best life, just having fun in pure innocence, didn't know anything bad. And I thought, what would she want? Like, what would she want my life to be right now? And then I look at the mom, I think the picture was looking at was when I had my fourth baby was maybe, I don't know, he's probably pretty young. And I was like, yeah, I was just knee deep in stress and being the mom. And yeah, I just didn't have time to take care of myself. So there's a time and a place for everything. But if you look at that picture and then you look at me now, even though I've aged, even though I have lots more wrinkles, my skin's hanging and saggy, I've put on some weight compared to where I was, a year or two ago. I still am looking better than I did. So the point I'm trying to make is that you can always improve a little bit. But don't be so hard on yourself. Love yourself. You are freaking amazing. You're powerful. You're infinitely loved. You just got to give it to yourself sometimes till you find it from someone else. Because until you give it to yourself, you won't find the people that can give it to you the way that you need it. You'll be constantly seeking that because it's all inside. All right. So, since we're talking about body, what are you ignoring about your body? Are you ignoring emotions? Are you ignoring the fact that you know you're completely out of alignment with where you should be? Not should from the standpoint of society, but where your heart wants you to be. Are you out of alignment with the truth around how much you're allowing yourself to rest? Or are you ignoring the fact that you love to be creative? Creativity is one of the fastest ways that you can start moving energy. Just start being creative. Yesterday, I decided that I've been wanting to transition my landscaping business to where I'm not the laborer. I went to my cute, fun psychic friend, Lori, who's been on the podcast. So go see her podcast, How Do You Spirit? And you can go back a few episodes and find the one that she was on here. But the first thing she said when I went to her for my reading was, you need minions. You're not here to do the labor. And my landscaping job started as a side hobby and turned into a business that has now grown into something that I don't want anymore. And so, but there are parts of it that I love. And so yesterday, I've been saving all these little 4-inch pots and other pots and things. And I'm like, I'm going to start gardening in my basement during the winter. And then I started this year taking little starts and selling little starts of lemon balm and hosta and creeping Jenny and just different things in my yard. I just thought, well, I'm just going to see what happens if I put these on Marketplace and I can't keep them in stock. Okay, so let's just dive into human design for a minute. So as a manifesting generator with a sacral authority, I'm sorry, let me go back to my strategy, which is to respond. That is the universe saying, yes, the transition can totally be this. If you would like to create herbs and make starts and sell those just for a little fun side gig, it fulfills my need to play in the dirt, but it also replaces some of the income from the landscaping that takes me out of doing the labor because I've toyed for years about hiring people, and it's just if you've taken any of my courses, been in any of my classes where we talk about goals, you know that I always am very clear. Your long-term goal, once you know what that is, anything that's not aligned with that is a no. Okay. Sometimes temporarily we say yes, but we have to say no to a lot of things. Well, hiring employees for a landscaping business, sure, I could make a ton of money and I could help a lot of people in that way, but it does not align with my ultimate goal to be able to work from anywhere because the hands in the dirt part is the part that I love. So managing employees is the part that I would not love. So that's where you have to start breaking things down. So I had all these pots. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to set up a little table in my basement and I'm going to create a garden room down there. And I will just start doing that not only with outside plants, but inside plants. So going back to creativity, that is a form of creativity. Everything we do is creative. But are you creating for yourself? Or are you creating for someone else? Are you building someone else's dream? Or are you building your own dream? So get back into creativity. It doesn't have to be something that makes you money, just something that lights you up. Whether it's crafting. One of the things I got back into was decoupage with Mod Podge, like creating things with paper. So whatever lights you up, that's the thing that will quiet your mind so you can be creative and get the action and get everything moving, the energy moving, but then it'll give you insight because usually when you're doing something like that, your brain, all of the outside noise shuts down and you're able to hear your spirit. So find that creative thing that you need to do. Um, but what are you ignoring? What needs to change? What are you making excuses for? Excuses are the worst. I have a billion of them, too tired. I don't have enough time to do it all in one setting, so I'm not going to ever sit down and do it. I mean, I am the queen of excuses, and I'm actually just sick and tired of it. There's a lot of things that I've had that I've been thinking about doing for a while. Part of it's I've been waiting for the universe to show me that it's time, but a lot of it's just been me being lazy or being not being willing to give up some of my fun time in order to make it happen. Your body's a messenger. It's not trying to hurt you. It's communicating to you. It's trying to protect you. And it does keep score, but it's keeping score because it's here to redirect you. It's here to say, hey, you don't feel good. You get a headache every time you go to work because you're at the wrong job. You get anxious and a stomach ache and you cry when you have to come home from a vacation because your life is not where you want to be. I remember one time coming home from, I used to go every year with my family to, when my kids were little, to Lake Mead. And my ex-husband always was working, so I would take the kids. And I remember one time I was riding home in the back seat of my dad's truck. I can remember the song that was playing on the radio. I can remember my brother was in the front seat with him. And I remember laying back there and tears just streaming out of my eyes because I didn't want to go home, because I didn't want to go home to the life that I had. But I didn't know how to change it. I didn't know what to do. My conditioning told me you don't have a choice. You have to stay where you're at. You have to do what you're doing and live in survival and live and not stand up to and not be who I wanted to be, like to keep shrinking myself down. And most of that, a lot of that was me just allowing that. It wasn't anyone saying you can't do this. It was me allowing people to make me feel like I couldn't do it or me being afraid to do it. And so I had to make some massive changes in order to change that. Like I couldn't get out of that space until I made some really hard, tough decisions. So your body is a messenger. So if you're crying and you're sad, or if you're don't feel good all the time, or you're tired and fatigued, you got to get quiet and you got to hear, what is my body trying to tell me? Stop ignoring it. It doesn't get better. It only gets worse. You have damaged cells, that cancer cells in your body. Every one of us does. You have all kinds of stuff in your body that could actually turn into something that could kill you. The choice is how you affect those genes that turn on what affects those cells. So your body's either going to have the genetics, the epigenetics, which means you're not stuck with what you were born with. You have the ability to change. So your body has all this stuff going on inside, but what turns on the ability for it to resist and to be healthy and to not get sick when the new things come out, the new the new parasite or the new disease or the new big pandemic that comes out, your body gets sick because A, you're believing that it's truth. You're believing that that's out there. You're living in a timeline where it's like, oh shoot, I should be scared because I'm probably going to get this and it could be really dangerous. Okay. I'm not saying that people didn't get sick, and I'm not saying that there wasn't a lot of tragedy around that. But what I am saying is that there is some element of your energetics that plays into that. Okay. Some of it is if your body's just healthy enough to fight off disease. Why do some people get sick all the time and some people don't? Why did I get sick when I was flying? Why did thousands of us get sick, but even more did not? Like, what is that? So there's something to that, right? So you've got all this going on in your body, but the way that it plays out is based on what you're doing. If you're eating and you're putting garbage into your body daily at every meal, you're going to get sick. Those yucky genes are going to turn on, and all those things you inherited or all those bad cells that can turn into something life-threatening are going to happen because A, you're not taking care of your body, B, you're not listening to your intuition, and C, you're probably listening to the outside and letting them influence what you do. So, just start paying attention to what you need to do. So that's with your physical body. If your emotional health is a mess because of things that happened in the past, you have to get it out. If you're in a situation right now where you're being emotionally abused, physically abused, get out. There are answers. There are people that will help you. There are all kinds of services and numbers that you can call and shelters and places you can go. It's that courage to just be like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I don't know what's on the other side, but I promise you what's on the other side is peace and it's safety. But it's going to force you to have to trust yourself. It's going to force you to have to grow. It's going to force you to have to make changes and to see your value and your self-worth because it's there. You just forgot. So please, 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 if you're hearing this and you're in a situation, if you were sick, if you're in a tough situation, I am not minimizing what you went through or what you're going through. I'm trying to empower you to make the change to get out of it or to see that what happened in the past it was to change the trajectory of your life. It was to get you out of the cycle that you were in. And most of us get those massive things happening to us because we get stuck in a cycle and our spirit combined with our higher power universe are just going to kick us out of it. They're going to find a way to kick us out of it because we came here with a purpose and a commitment to explore and to learn and to solve the mystery of our own life. So listen to your body. And where is it trying to redirect you? The next one is intuition. It's your greatest asset. I believe in this day and age, if you don't learn how to use your intuition, you are going to be lost. You're either going to be a sheep that goes along with everything, that stays stuck in fear, that is controlled, or you're going to learn to use your intuition and you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, you know what? I'm taking my power back and I'm only doing what feels correct for me. And I'm not going to buy into all the BS. So don't buy into something that comes from the outside world. You've got to use your intuition to say, is this true? Is this true? Some of us have gifts of just absolutely knowing. There are so many things that have happened that I could see that were going to happen. And so I took measures to protect myself from those things that other people don't have the gift of seeing. But those that don't have the gift, you do have the internal knowledge that when you hear it from someone else, it will resonate and you'll be like, you know what? That sounds correct to me. So I'm going to go down the rabbit hole and I'm going to find the truth. Most of us are not willing to take the time to find the truth. We spend more time planning a wedding, planning a vacation, planning on our house, where we're going to live and our house plans than we do at planning on what our life is and how to make decisions and listening to our intuition. That should be your number one thing. Everything else falls in line once you learn how to do that. It's your greatest asset. It's not woo-woo. And as the world evolves over the next couple of years, you are going to see intuition is going to be imperative. If you are following along with what everyone else is doing, you are off your path. Period. You are. There's some things you should follow along with. There are some people you should follow. Some people know the way to certain things. But some people you've been programmed to believe they know the way and they're only in it for power and money. And you've got to learn to discern that. Discernment is going to be so important. This is why human design is so important because once you understand the way you're designed to operate and how your body gives you cues, you won't question it anymore. You already are using them. You're already sometimes like listening to your body and using the cues. But the majority of the time, most people are second guessing those cues. And so they're going against them because it's what we've been conditioned to do. Okay. We've been taught to fit in a box, to do what everybody else is doing, and to ignore our intuition. It is time for you to bring that intuition back. So self-trust, discernment, you need to learn to pause and reflect instead of react. Do not be compelled to make decisions immediately. Let yourself sit with things. There is nothing, there are very few things in the world that you need to make an immediate decision on. And if you learn to trust your strategy and authority of your human design, you will know that the things that you're afraid to wait on, they're going to either go away or they will become more strong in your life when it's time to act on them. So it's something that you've got to really work on. And if you truly want freedom in life, freedom is not Freedom is not having all of the things. Freedom is peace. Freedom is the choice to change your mind. Freedom is doing exactly what you want to do. Here, what's interesting is another thing they brought up in that podcast today that was just so interesting to me was some of us success and freedom is wearing a t-shirt while they record a podcast and being able to go out in the backyard mid-afternoon and have lunch and going on a walk in the mountains. But some of us, our true alignment is fast cars, expensive things, um, lots of activity, lots of money. But the programming has tried to push us all towards that, all towards get more, have more, be more, do more, success, success, success. We're not all here to be the same. You are here to follow your own trajectory, your own purpose. And I can't follow my purpose if I'm caught up in all of that. And I'll tell you what, it is hard because it comes back when I'm around certain people. It comes back when I'm getting ready for the day and I decide, should I get dressed up for my podcast? Does it matter? What's truly me? Well, today I wanted to say, girls run the world because we're freaking awesome, right? So this is one of my favorite shirts. I never wear it because I rarely wear t-shirts. And I just wanted to wear that today. So start listening, start paying attention to what feels good to you because the old me would have felt like I had to be dressed to the nines, perfect hair, my office looking perfect, all the things before I could ever record. And if I did that, nothing would ever get done. And that's going back to what I said. It just has to be a tiny change. It doesn't have to be big. Start letting go. What do you want to let go of? What are you just sick and tired of that you just keep doing and you don't even know why you're doing it? Um, so your health is definitely affected by being out of alignment with your truth. So if you're chasing things that are not aligned for you, that you weren't here to have in this lifetime, if you keep running up against walls, it's because you're off path. It's because you're off path. So find your peace, find your place of peace so you can understand what feels good to you. I freaking love to be social. I love to have a good time. I am party girl to the T when the timing's right. But I've had to learn to say, you know what? I need my space and I need to not be around a lot of people this time. And for such a long time, I used to worry that people would take that personally or that I wouldn't be liked or I wouldn't get invited again. And I just had to finally accept that because I literally physically cannot be turned on in that space of energy all the time. I can't do it. And so you've got to learn to honor that for the sake of your health. If you're having symptoms, any kind of symptoms, again, it's your body trying to tell you something. Okay. If you're struggling with your self-worth, there's a really good chance that you have an opened will center in your human design, which about 70, almost 70% of the population has, about 68%, I think it is, which makes us constantly struggle with self-worth. And that's why you need to put yourself in position where you're learning from people who have self-worth, where you're being modeled and you're being expanded by people that have self-worth. It doesn't mean that because you have that open center, you can't have self-worth. It just means that you take it in from others and you amplify it. So your own self-worth just even gets lower. Once you understand that, and you understand that you're inherently worthy of everything that you want and desire, that'll change everything. And you've got to learn how to shield yourself because a lot of us pick up everyone else's self-worth and it massively affects our own. So just knowing those little things are such a big deal. And then I'm looking at my notes and I can't read my writing because I was just like, let me hurry and write down a few key things I want to talk about. So the bottom line is being true to your authentic self, remembering who you are. Stop rehearsing. I feel like we're rehearsing the past for the future. Oh, okay, what did I do wrong? How did I, and we're we're rehearsing and reliving, right? The past is gone. It's over. It's done. You're a totally different person than you were yesterday. And so now you're here to remember. Remember what you came to do. Remember that inner spirit. Remember your truth. Remember your soul. Remember the commitments and the contracts that you made to come here to have an experience, even the hard things, experiences. That is the medicine, is being authentic. So you can you can take all the supplements. Every time there's a new supplement, I love supplements. There are some amazing supplements that I recommend to my clients. But every single time that I just realized that my little arrow is in the screen. I wonder if you guys can see it. Anyway, every single time that you jump on something without listening to your gut and you're like, oh, I'm so tired. That supplement is the magic pill because they said it does this, this, and that. There is no magic pill. You can spend millions of dollars on people that'll fix you, supplements. You got to get right with yourself. You've got to find and remember your truth. Okay. So the medicine is authenticity. It's discovering who you are and remembering that person and honoring that person and doing what that person came here to do, doing what that little girl thought was going to be so great about life, playing with your friends, having a good time, staying up late, all the things that as a kid, you were just like, I want to do all the things, right? But luckily we had parents that kept us in line, maybe sometimes too much in line, kind of screwed up our authenticity, but that was not meaning. In most cases, they didn't mean to do that. They didn't know any better. I did it to my kids. So the medicine is in you. You do need to take care of your body. You do need some supplements, especially as you age. There's just things that you're going to need. You do need to eat good. You do need to take care of your mental health. You do need to do the things to take care of yourself physically. But the thing that's going to make all of that amplified is being true to yourself, being truly, truly authentic. So if any of that resonated with you, I would love to hear about it. If you are not subscribed to my Substack, please go subscribe. It's free. I don't send out a million emails. You'll get an email for new podcasts that come out. And then just any upcoming events that are happening. And then once in a while, when I get around to it, you'll get a newsletter. But I'm not going to spam you. I had to unsubscribe to so many people because email is not my jam. And so I'm very leery of sending out emails. I'm not going to send you an email 2 times a day and every day for weeks on end. I don't have time for that. I don't have the want to automate that to happen. I want everything I do to be truly authentic and in the moment. So if you get an email from me, it's because it's something that was truly special that I thought you might like. So subscribe to that. I'm in the process of building my paid subscription on Substack. It is very inexpensive. It is going to have lots of human design. It's going to have bonus episodes with some of my favorite practitioners. It's going to be a place for you to, for a very low cost, expand and learn and find your authentic truth. So if you're just like, oh, I don't have the money to do anything one-on-one, but I want to learn more, I want to improve myself, that's the best place to go. So that is not, it's there that you can subscribe and there's a few things in there, but it's not quite where I want it just yet. So just go to subscribe to my free Substack and that will get you'll be notified when everything else is ready. The next thing that I'm super excited about right now is my group community Aligned. And it is a weekly community. You can participate every week. You can watch the recordings. But we are going to start on week 1 and we are going to get real about a lot of the stuff that I talked about. We are going to identify what are we not happy with? What is it that we dream about? Where are we lying to ourselves? Where are we making excuses? Where are we betraying ourselves? Where are we interjecting ourselves in other people's journeys out of our need to be in control? We're going to discover so many things over the course of the next year. That opens up in September. If you want to be part of that, there is a wait list that you can join. The fee for that is going to be, I haven't figured out the fee yet, but it's going to be probably about $44 a month, which is super inexpensive. But if you're on the wait list, you'll get a bonus discount to be in the initial group. So if any of that resonates with you, reach out. But I hope you can take one thing from today's podcast and just decide, okay, I can do that. I can, some of you are so overwhelmed that the most important thing is to calm your nervous system down. So if all you need to do is take 10 minutes a day and go sit somewhere where it's completely silent. Don't be afraid of the thoughts. That's why a lot of us avoid the silence, is because we don't want to hear what's happening inside our heads. But in order for you to change and grow and become the amazing woman that you're here to be, you have to process the shit that's in there. You have to get through it. You have to get through the low self-worth. You have to get through the past crap that's happened to you. You have to get the rage and the anger out. You have to just be truthful. So if that's all you can do right now is just say, you know what, I can commit to 10 minutes a day to be silent, and you make that non-negotiable. Nobody interrupts you. There is no phone. It's a time that you do it every single day. And some of you may not have the flexibility or may not have the ability to do it at the exact same time every day. I would encourage you to try that because it'll make you more committed. Even if you have to get up 10 minutes early. I can't tell you how many clients I've had that I'm like, just get up 15 minutes early, it'll change your life. And it literally changes their health. So pick one thing and start there, and then come join us. And you can just layer upon that, because that little degree of change is going to set you on a whole separate path. And it's going to put you in front of the opportunities, the people, the places, all the things that you're wanting that you feel like are impossible and out of reach. They will come to you when you change your story. You have to change. You can't keep living the same story, because all the things you don't want and the things that you're attracting that are negative, or people that you don't want to attract, they're on that path A, right? So the longer you make choices that keep you on path A, you're going to stay stuck in that story. But as soon as you start making those little minor choices that put you on path B, you will be shocked at what comes into your life when you just put yourself in a different atmosphere. You go to something that might be scary to meet new people. You join a group, you listen to a podcast, you do something different that expands for you mentally and emotionally what's possible, or something that physically, literally puts you in front of somebody that you are destined to meet. You're just putting it off because you're picking the wrong path. So I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I will see you all next week. I have a fabulous guest next week, and I'm excited. She's a repeat guest, and we're going to talk lots about human design. So if you are into human design, you're going to love next week's episode. Okay, have a fantastic week, and I love y'all, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.